Let's get to my next guest of the evening. He's got an EP called Ghost Comes to Town and making his second appearance on the show. And he's actually calling in from his son's baseball game right now. Brooks Ritter. How's it going, man?
My man, it is going good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining me on this show. You're out here multitasking, so I appreciate that.
100%, man. Glad to be here, brother.
So let's talk about this EP. Ghosts
Yes,
Come
sir.
to Life. You set the tone for the Louisville scene. You was the first release that I know of in 2021. You released the song Devil's Teeth the previous year. So that was getting everybody ready this
Yes, sir.
uh, for this EP. Now, some people have done songs prior to the pandemic or during the pandemic. So these songs that you talk about the process of recording "Ghosts Come to Town." Talk a little bit about putting the album together, the EP together.
Yes, sir. Man, so it kind of starts, um, I got to kind of start from the beginning. Ghosts Come to Life, that was basically, um, I had about 30, 40 songs that I was kind of shuffling through. I was kind of trying to see which tunes would work. And so, like, in an act of maybe frustration and just kind of throwing my hands up, I text my good friend and who actually produced the EP, my friend Vince Emmett, uh, in Nashville at the time. And I was just like, bro, can I send you some songs? I'm just trying to, like, get my head around this whole thing. I'm wanting to release new music, and I think I've got something. But essentially that conversation, led to, well, let's do an album together. And so this has been, Vince has been a long time friend of mine, a veteran when it comes to recording people, and so albums and whatnot. And so it's been a long time dream to work with him. And so when he said that, I just was flabbergasted and, jumped at the opportunity. So kind of from there, we met up several times in Louisville. He has a studio in Louisville as well. And man, we met up and started to cipher through the songs. And he'd ask me like, "Well, what's your favorite one?" I was like, I've got this one, I've got that one, I really like this one." And I mean, it was a lot of songs to shuffle through, to be honest. And then Sonablast got involved, which is a Louisville label, and they wanted to put out the EP, so that was very exciting as well. My first time working with them, and they've been nothing but kind and been a home, for me in this EP. Um, so once we kind of whittled down the songs, it was one of those things where I I kind of blinked and was just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a very raw album for me, a very raw release. So I was just excited, man, and I had my band here in Louisville, and actually most of my guys are actually Indiana guys, but just for Louisvillians, that Indiana is just across the river. So um, we began rehearsing, and Vince worked it out to where we were going to record at Sound Emporium in Nashville, Tennessee. Big shout out to Sound Emporium. They're amazing. Their crew is amazing. And, thousands of artists have recorded there, and just inspirational to just be in that room. And, this was actually in 2019. So that's what's crazy. We recorded in June of 2019 and got the bulk of all the songs recorded. Um, it wasn't until, so we were doing then overdubs. And so overdubs. And then finally it was we kind of came to a conclusion once 2020 hit. Obviously, the can of worms that we know of as the pandemic occurred, and it really, as far as planning was going and everything, we uh, kind of pushed pause a little bit. Um, Wanted to add a song to the EP, and so in the pandemic, just literally the week of when everything shut down, we were able to go to a COVID safe studio in Louisville and put the final song, which is actually um, Greatest Gift. We recorded Greatest Gift at a studio in Louisville with Steve Wilson, and man, it was a treat. And it was crazy. It was scary. We were all wearing masks except when we were singing. And yeah, man. And basically, fast forward, um, I just, I'm talking with the label, and November we released Devil's Teeth, which, as the first single, was just a blast, and just one of those things where couldn't believe it. It's like, yes, finally, new music. And my last record came out in 2016, so it was a good, it was a good little while, 4 years of kind of sitting on songs and wondering what to do next. And we just had the bold idea, let's release the whole EP on New Year's Day. Crazy enough, I was like, I don't know who else is doing that, so let's do it. And maybe, it'll make some waves and this and that. But yeah, man, super pleased, man. And thank you again for having me on, but just for, the support along the way too.
Yeah,
Very
man.
long-winded answer.
You don't. You the only one that I know of, at least far as my local music friends, released a song or at least some sort of music on New Year's Day. Nobody can say
Mm,
that but Brooks Sweater, and I'm glad that it was
well,
you that set the tone. Ghosts Come
thank
to
you.
Life for Brooks Sweater, a
That's right.
five-song EP available on all the platforms. Now, as you point
Correct.
out, we're still going through this ongoing pandemic, and while things have looked a bit more encouraging this year, we still had challenging times. Now, some people have gotten a chance to perform again. Some people have been hesitant of performing until this pandemic comes to an extreme end. Um,
Hmm.
what's your mind at as far as a performer? Getting back to performing or wanting to perform. Like, how do you feel? Getting performing during the pandemic.
Yeah. So I've played a few shows, um, kind of as things have opened back up. Most recently was I played a Waterfront Wednesday in Louisville, where I got to open up for Kingfish, um, which was an incredible experience. He was an incredible person. And also Geneva, another really cool Louisville band, played. Man, it's one of those things where, um, taking a lot of cues from other people, while, you know, everything has been just nuts. Um, my family, we prefer wearing masks pretty much when we're out in general, just because, you know what, let's be safe for each other. Let's be safe for just those who we're around. So that's kind of my mindset. But with those shows, and I have an upcoming show later this month, the 28th at Headliners in Louisville. Um, my mindset is as long as we're safe. And I know a lot of venues are requiring vaccination cards, which I think is awesome. Um, I, I'm for vaccinating. I am again, for people to be safe. I am for people being safe. And so, with that said, I know that some folks, will choose to hold off. Um, on playing shows until there's a hard end, and I totally get that. Um, I also think that music is one of those gifts that is, um, it spreads life, and it's good and it's joyous, and it unites people. And so, in the sense where if I can be a voice of light in that sense of just bringing joy to someone through my songs and through the live performance, I want to do that. And so that's part of just my mentality, I guess you could say, with this. So safety, masks, um, while in the venue or whatever, and except for being on stage, and that's kind of where I'm at with it.
The number one priority for these venues, these stadiums, these arenas, whether it's music or theater, um,
Hmm.
sports, etc., is the
Yeah,
safe and health of everyone that is involved. So
exactly.
that's the number one key. Now, it will be
Right.
nice that everybody gets fully vaccinated, but people have their feelings about it, and it's a touchy subject. Um,
For sure.
so, but you can only focus on what you can control, and
That's right.
what matters is that you make sure that you're safe and your family. You being a husband and a father, you got kids. I see that you got child number 4 on the way. Um,
That's right,
so
man. Wild.
so congrats to you and Bianca for
Thank you
that.
so much, man.
And you be doing the fatherly thing, being there to see your son playing baseball.
That's right.
That's and I hope he got some hits, getting them home run hits.
Indeed. He did. He did. He cranked it.
Okay,
It was great.
okay, awesome,
Proud
awesome.
papa over here.
Got to support the kids, obviously. Who knows? You might see him in the major league game down the road. Who knows?
Who knows, man?
So man, so check out this EP, Ghosts Come to Life by Brooks Ritter. It's on all the platforms. And he's got a show coming up. Where can they catch you on your next show?
So it is October the 28th, right before Halloween, at Headliners Music Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. It's
All
going to be a
right.
really fun night. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So go check that out. For my understanding, they are requiring proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test before you step in. So something to keep in mind. But it's Brooks Ritter, for crying out loud. He's a talented musician. He's gonna give you that good music. He's gonna give you a good time. And
Yes,
more
sir.
importantly,
Yes, sir.
he wants you attendees to be safe too. So
Right.
go check it out. Be safe. Get the card ready or the negative COVID-19 papers with you, and enjoy the show. Headliners Music Hall at Louisville, Kentucky, October the 28th, right before Halloween. So that is a few weeks away. So thank you, Brooks, for joining me. I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of the night with your family and seeing your son get more hits in. But
That's right.
thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Kenny, again for having me on here, brother. It's always great to hear your voice.
Good to hear from you too, man. You have a good night.